Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News. This is Investigator News, today's news and world news. Boy, folks, I have to say that what we're experiencing in the news when we have mainstream media talking about um, should we trust Biden? Now, that's what I'm getting out of it. They don't want him in there. They don't want him to run. Why? He's getting angry. Now we know he was angry as senator, and we know he was with Senator Byrd, and we know that he was angry back then too. What was he angry about with Senator Byrd? That his kids would have to go to school with a color, any color. It didn't matter. Anything darker than white, he didn't like. So, and we even had uh, Ari Flesher, I believe, came forward, and he was an angry guy back then, 20 years ago. Now, as we're looking at Joe Biden with dementia, they can deny this all they want. We're seeing a man that needs to be led around. Over in the UK today, or yesterday, he was having to be led around. He was lost. He looked lost. Why? Why are we having a president that looks lost? And then we have an angry a president, one that's getting very angry. Now, final stages of dementia, they get very aggressive, they get very angry. And I called William today and I said, William, I know some stuff here. Um, I've got um, sources that are worried about this. They're worried about him. They're worried about what's going on with the White House. They're worried about the cocaine that was found. They're worried about this administration. Now, I just want to say, when a woman is in her final stages of pregnancy, don't really, they need to quit working. They need to move to having a baby and then deciding baby issues. Karen knows about this baby issues. Do you feed? Do you breastfeed? Do you what feed? How much time do you take off work? Well, Biden doesn't like this. Why? And why, I'm in Arkansas, folks. Um, uh, Karen says fourth stage. Now, Karen would know because she said, and so would, oh goodness, there's so many. Uh, and they get angry. My mother-in-law, I can't really, I can't say what she did, but she went after people, certain people that she didn't like, that didn't agree with her Christian values. Now, Karen, you know what's going on, and we know that this is happening. Why? Because they are not um, ex- letting us see where his dementia is. Now, we see it with Diane Feinstein. Now she's past angry, and we, boy, the AIDS and not only the AIDS, but people that I have sources at the Capitol there said, boy, she got real angry, and then they had to take her home for a while, and then she got sick, and then she came back, and it's different. She's definitely being led around. How come we haven't heard about Dianne Feinstein? What about Pelosi? Pelosi, now, I think she has an alcohol issue, but I think we're seeing early stages with her too. Well, when I seen her in the middle of the floor trying to incite Democrats to rise up and almost protest on the floor of the Capitol. Some up there. Karen, what do you think on this? Now, if he's already an angry guy, if he's already angry, and then he's even worse, then next? No, we know that he's upset because they're not informing him of things that's happening, and he's probably the last to hear. Um, but did they say he is worse than Hillary Clinton? Twice as bad. Now, but we heard from Dan Bongino that said, when he seen Hillary coming, they hid. So you can only imagine what Secret Service is doing at the White House. Huh. It's because things tide is changing. When issues Americans are border, and what he's is the border sees what putting a warning out to everyone. It's not. They say the truthers. Your residents will be as angry as you are. I don't know how much you missed with this. I don't know. Maybe I'm being censored right now. I could be getting in trouble for this when I'm stating today. But we're the truth and news, folks. I'm not gonna lying. No more covering stuff. How much? I don't. There's So she is keeping on Abbott, making sure it keeps moving forward with this investment. Now, why are we having judges, senators, congressmen having to keep bugging Abbott to keep the invasion going on? Well, we know he is putting. Um, I think great idea keep people. Boy, I'm fluctuating here, folks. Um, right now I have no signal on my um, I'm having a lot of issues right now. So do this as best I can tonight. I think so. Why do you have to keep up on Abbott? Now I heard Abbott's dropping the ball, and if it wasn't for congressmen and senators, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing, like the buoys. Oh boy. And issues, folks. Now, I want to move going. You guys might know some of this news. Oh, about Chinese summer camps for 5-year-olds. We're in camp to start on the role of wanting to be a soldier. Why aren't we doing that? Why are we teaching 5-year-olds that about transgender? Shouldn't we be teaching them education? I don't agree with China putting 5-year-olds in boot camps. That's just as bad. But we should be teaching our kids reading, writing, arithmetic. Isn't that what we were taught? Maybe I'm in an old fashioned generation, but I think that's important because we need very intelligent uh, students coming out of college. We don't need dumbness. We don't need dumbness and dumb down. Was God? I know. And I'm not sure why. I'm thinking it's just solar flares. Okay, now, um, not only that with China, that one of the biggest with a video about going to meet wind as early as 5 years. It's one of the biggest. If you've seen some of the pollution in China, you would see that there is the wind generators, solar panels that they're not seeing. China is aimed at double its wind and solar capability by 2030, but it's um, successfully built, commissioned. China is set to meet the goal in just 2 years. They say some of the cleanest air. Am I reading this right? China's rapid progress in technology, major boost for the global to tackle climate, possible to transition from clean energy future without sacrificing economic growth. They have got the biggest polluter. They are the biggest polluter in the world. And they're going to get the award for having the cleanest air by the World Economic Forum. Really? Thank you, Karen. I'm glad you put that up. Comment below, folks. Um, if you comment, you're just watching. I don't care if it's after the show's over. Um, I'll put you on our next show. We want your comments. We need to know what the people are thinking that's watching our shows. Clean air in China, really? But that's what the World Economic Forum. Then, if it is clean, and it's so unusual with UEF and the CC are have finally got together and are going to put a lie forward, but that's what they do best. Communist China is the biggest threat, and it helps us to continue to expose the evil work of the Chinese communist regime. They have got the worst pollution and have the cleanest air. Wow, can we act like them? No, they're going to get rid of our cars. They're going to put us in electric cars. They're cutting out the coal plants. They're cutting out the um, fossil fuels, saying it's dirtying our United States and the world globally. And in the meantime, we see some of the worst uh, pollution, not only with China but India. Okay, they're doing good. How much of this is exposed? Well, people see it. You can't claim a year ago or 2 years ago how filthy it was, and then say, well, have to clean this now. And when they pictures of it, polluted, haze. Huh. World Economic is a weird run organization. What about Yellen bowing? Anybody see that? You know what? You don't bow to Chinese. It's almost an insult. And she was bowing, 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 bowing like what do you call them? Almost like the little dogs in the back of your car and their little heads are going. That's what kind of it reminded me of. This was embarrassment. Not bowing once or twice, not even three times, and he fell back. That's you don't bow like. And it almost looked like in the clip that someone was trying to stop her from doing it. That's what, when I've shown it and I had many friends take a look at it, I said, what do you think? They said, that person to the side is trying to stop her from doing this. And, they're even saying that she's an embarrassment, that it was wrong to send her there. Um, you know, um, what did she go over there for? And, I know I mentioned this, I think, last Friday. It was for business. It wasn't about, let's not mess with Taiwan. It was about a business venture. It was the economic world, kind of like a World Economic Summit where she met with many other uh, uh, global Asian, like a parliament. And she's bowing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's a little chihuahua in the back of your car. Just, oh, yeah. Yeah. Why did they form her not this? I mean, China, Japanese maybe, or Japan, maybe. But for China, no, we don't usually bow to them. More likely, they want her back. And she did speak in pink. And as we see, Congress and Senate are looking at putting in voting laws. Will it work? Well, you have to have an ID. Well, as soon as they did this, as soon as they decided to do it, what did Massachusetts do? But they approved license to illegal migrants as the border search taxes the state. They're going to allow for to apply for driver's license, a move that is potentially um, to ease some of the burden of the government struggling from a surge of immigration. The work to family mobility. That's what they want to do. And this is Massachusetts. This allows eligible Massachusetts residents to apply to obtain a standard driver's license, regardless of status, moving a pre-state requirement that residents have proof of immigration status. Democrat Healy call benefit for public safety and great for their economy. Migrants and immigrants, residents should be allowed to drive to work, school, or the grocery store without fear. The migrants in Massachusetts, which is also called sanctuary cities for illegals. And that's a whole other issue with the sanctuary cities. Susan, You got a good point. Funny how you don't see China being flooded with the illegals, but who went to China? We got Chinese uh, defecting and going through our borders. Are they true, or are they criminals? They spies? Or are they here for? And of course, just let them. Just everybody a month or we're taking a look to see who these people from China are. Of course, nobody wants to go to China. We don't sell them in a crop. Even the ones coming out of, we got them coming from Iran, Afghanistan, all of them countries. They could easily just float over to China in the middle of nowhere. But do they want to live in a communist country? The problem with what the immigration is seeing, the illegal migrants come into this country. They get here and they say, this is worse socialism than the socialism we had. They see it. They see it. And a lot of them are saying they're not going to vote for this Biden guy. He lied. He lies. Didn't he say, wasn't it the promise that he was going to bring us all together? We're going to be all happy. The adults are now in charge. Now the migrants don't even like him because he lied. They were promised, like we were promised when he made the promise of making everyone, we were all going to get along. We were going to be one big happy family. He lied. Everything he promised, he didn't keep. Oh, and that's what the migrants are saying. He promised. They had shirts of Biden on them. And now they're using them for rags. They found hundreds of them laying in Mexico. Why? Because he lied to them. They're not going to get what they were told. They're not going to get a car. They're not going to get a job. They're not going to get. They're going to be thrown in with homeless, and now they're homeless. Or what about those that came with money? A few of them came over with. They're sitting in a house. And they got jobs. Already got jobs. Got nice cars. Got a house. Fine. But it was one that came over with money and came over in their own cars, their own transportation. They came over and they found work. Now, isn't that what they did with Mexico early on? Or even over in the Philippines or Asians that came over and did it right. And they didn't live on promises and be kept. And the same with the cluster bombs. Uh, and we talked about them last night, me and William did. But what we missed was, and Biden shouldn't have said, was we don't have no ammunition. What? And I got to looking at the journals and places they do build ammunition. And I got a hold of a company here that did ammunition for during Bush administration, sends to the Sandinistas and uh, into Colombia with Iran Contra. What happened to our ammunition? Well, we it's a decline of U.S. manufacturing. The U.S.'s inability to sustain weapons and manufacturing at Trump's level is bad news. Not just Ukraine, folks, us. However, the American people aren't paying attention to it. Much worse, it comes in from a war with China, presumably over Taiwan. The U.S. may still be ahead of technology and training, but if we don't have manufacturing of of munitions, we're in trouble. And nobody's paying attention to that. And when you look into it, at least one of the good plants have closed down. We are seeing more plants closing and closing and then moving to other countries. But we didn't see the arsenal move to another country. We seen the arsenal, one of them shut down. And now, all of a sudden, we're low. Why are we low with munitions? Why would we send clubs? And hopefully tomorrow, I got a report I'm working for the cluster bombs. Staying to the World War report tomorrow for cluster bombs. At one point, we were so stocked up that we had enough for years, decades. What happened to it? We can't keep giving munitions to other war-torn countries. They need munitions when we didn't build it back up. Now, whose fault is this? When did this start? Well, they're saying right about 1997. Well, that was the Clinton administration. Now, Bush, they didn't pay attention to it. Then we moved to Obama. And Obama wasn't interested in it because he was all into foreign relations, him and Joe Biden. And Trump, no. He put a lot into the military, but there was never any the arsenal of refer, even um, putting another plant in to replace the ones that were aging. Now, the thing is weak, and hearing that it's not just viewers; it's you're seeing influx. Uh, I'm a Skippy of program tonight. Is Skippy. Go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee. 7-Eleven day. Go get a Slurpee. All right. Uh, so we need to, when I talked to the gentleman at the armory here, I said, are you guys doing munitions? He says, oh, yeah, it double the speed. But when we give it away, giving away more than what they can produce, he said. This is concerning. Uh, do we send our men, our army in with guns with no ammunition? See, that's now what we're looking at. And are they worried? No. Well, this is the kind of stuff that we need instead of NATO and rubbing elbows and shaking hands and laughing and patting each other on the backs for a NATO meeting. He needs concerned our arsenals. And even the one I talked to here, and they were the one that supplied all the munitions for Iran, and they said putting them out and making quick as they could, but something happened, and they don't get as much through the federal government for being able to produce the munitions. The federal funding isn't there. It's been cut. I said, when did it cut? He said, during the Obama administration. He didn't feel the need. See, that's why when Trump got in office, he put so much into our military. And everybody said he was dumb for it. Was he? No, but he should have put into we were lacking. Well, you can only do so much when you put it here and you put it there and you put it over here and over there, and then what's left? Well, obviously there wasn't no room for munitions. And this is something that Joe Biden should be answering to the American people with the bombs. But the cluster bombs. Now, I'm going to put that aside because we can do this tomorrow. Um, but when it comes to missions, he has not addressed this. We knew, I think I did this on the show a month or two ago, or we may have even done this on our three report, that we are short of munitions. And no one's ever done anything. Whose job is it? Who has got control of it? Should it be the military? Well, what about Millie? Should Millie or Lloyd have done this? What about the Department, just the Pentagon, the Department of Defense? Who is responsible to make sure we have enough munitions, not only to spread out all over the globe, but for it to stay here at home, for our own protection? I mean, when you need this for basic training to teach our new soldiers how to fire these weapons, do we have enough? I don't do. Is it deliberate, Karen? Now think of this, or is it negligent? I think it's negligent. I don't think it's a deliberate of munitions to dump it. I think it is negligent on that they always thought you got gun, enough bullets for a gun. You buy boxes and boxes, and oh, I got plenty. Well, when it got to where they weren't letting anybody have it, and they were putting it into the IRS. Well, shouldn't the IRS give the munitions back if we need it for our own military? I think it's negligent that they keep forgetting the funding. And this is what this guy at this um, said. It's just negligent that they're not giving they haven't increased the funding. They haven't increased the amount to be made. They have plants that are so old that need to be replaced. And they have shut them down, but they never reopened another one. And that's nuts. William says deliberate. So tomorrow, boy, me and William might be having a big conversation on this. I think I'm going to look and I'm going to see. William, I did talk to the and he says they cut the funding in the Obama administration. It's not this one. So we had Obama, Trump, and then now Biden. And he said they cut the military during the Obama administration. So, and it was all about foreign policy. They were all worried about foreign policy. Obama was about Muslims and foreign policy with the Muslims. And of course, we had Joe Biden. He was more interested in resources and and foreign policy only for him and his family, not for the country. And we have a Republican, and not just Republicans, we have so many countries, 120 countries, that say no to these cluster bombs. And I want to do more of a bigger report on it tomorrow. But we have got to take a look at what is good for us. If we send them munitions and say, sorry, Zelensky, we can't send you no more. Why would they substitute it with cluster bombs? And if we can't send munitions to other places like Taiwan, or we send them cluster bombs? It's all to do with the munitions. And their reasoning for it is because we don't have the munitions to send, we're going to send cluster bombs. I think there's a little more to that. And I don't want to put it into it tonight. I'd rather do and take a look at this tomorrow with the World War III report, when it could be a discussion and we could dig out more on what's up. Because when you see the workings of a cluster bomb, not right, just not right. Well, I might be done with this early tonight. Um, you know, we don't hear much from Kim Jong Un. We hear a lot from his sister. She's very powerful. Now, she attended a wreath laying ceremony at Ho Chi Museum. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Mouse in Hanoi. Kim Yo Jong alleged on Monday that warned of consequences if the United States continued renaissance um, of activities in the area. They're claiming that the United States warplanes are spy planes. What if they are? That's part of war. They say, or she says, a warplane, they repelled a U.S. Spy plane that flew over exclusive economic zone and warned of shocking consequences. The U.S. said South Korea carriers did not immediately respond to the comments, but her brother's attack on foreign policy officials, which were published in the state media on Monday evening. Earlier, they say, the defense ministry stated accusing the United States of spying, of flying spy planes and uh, airspace. And lo and behold, it was China that responded because when they seen what was going on, China responded with heavy military. And then, of course, if they're going to, North Korea is going to be acting against Taiwan and the Taiwan, and so is Kim Jong Un, and so is China. Taiwan said with the Ministry of National Defense that he had detected an additional 34 Chinese military aircraft and Chinese naval vessels around Taiwan after this was said. 34 PLAAF planes and four more planned ships have been detected around Taiwan. The air types include Chengdu J-10, Shenyang J-16, and Sukhoi Su-30 fighter jets, as well as H-6 bombers and Y-8 anti-submarine aircraft. In addition, they say, naval ships are deployed to carry out joint combat readiness. And of course, they say they're ready for war. Um, but we hear because of Putin that Jinping is kind of delaying of what he would do with Taiwan. That I don't understand. I have to look into it a little bit more. And then there's Larry Nassar. I don't know if you guys remember Larry Nassar. He was a guy that was a coach for the Olympic girls team. And there was 100 women when he was accused of raping and sexually abusing the Olympic team, girls team. There was close to 100 women that stood up and came forward. Well, He is having issues. Jill has not been good to him. He was basically, they say, stabbed, and this isn't the first. This is the first time. He has. This would be the third time that he has had a part of being stabbed. Um, Now you say, "Oh, well, it happens all the time." Well, yeah, it does. It happened to Jeffrey Dahmer. It also James Whitey Bulger. The son of Whitey Bulger that's hooked up with um, Hunter Biden and Devin Archer when they started doing business in the United States. But he has had issues. So has Albert DeSalvo, the Boston Strike. Hmm. Uh, how many times are we going to see this? Even Nicholas Rodriguez, he was even stabbed. How many times do we see him stabbed? Look at what we just went through with um, the of the pedophile. Every single one put in prison, it's been locked up. I mean, we seen the suicide, but they're being the ones that in prison that had anything to do with um, Epstein's pedophile island have all been attacked. Now we know that if you do that, you're going to get attacked. If you hurt a kid, it's almost a gimme. But this is different. They're saying now Jeffrey Dahmer, he was attacked. I mean, they say you can't kill. If you kill people, you're going to be attacked. Well, what about others that are on death row or even some that have killed people? For some reason, it tends to be either serial killers that hurt kids or it's those that were part of Epstein, Weinstein. Yeah, we got to do Weinstein too. Look at what he did to Hollywood, and they're all okay with it. I don't know. I don't think so. Um, so when we look at this Nassar guy, um, and why do you think? Um, and this is something that's really, I think I took a good hard look at because my court TV days, and you get someone like Epstein that goes in, or others, or even this NASA. There's a target on their back, and because if you kill someone powerful in prison, it gives you prestige. People leave you alone. You get more of people, of other prisoners around you for protection. And bringing this out with Nassar, it only goes. I'm going to goes back to Epstein, but look at Weinstein. Hollywood now, 120 Hollywood uh, actors have came forward. Transgender mutilation is okay with them. You know the guy that played Picard? Well, I can't think of his name. His not his. I'm trying to think of his not his actor name, but his real name. He's one that said it was okay. Really, I like that sharp show Picard, but it's like I'm not watching it no more. Anybody to child mutilation, wrong, wrong, wrong. And these Hollywood stars, a lot of them I didn't even know who they were, didn't recognize. But now, I said this before, Stan has Stan perverts from directors, producers. start to those that even seek out the stars. He said they're all it. They're all into Weinstein. They're all into this. And if you agree, then they kick you out of Hollywood. It's so true. Me being from California, folks, um, I learned a lot with Clint Eastwood in Monterey. And a lot of people said, well, why are you here and you're making movies? He says he couldn't stand Hollywood because of the prejudice. Now, this is Clint Eastwood now, folks. Now, think of those that have left Hollywood. They didn't want part of this. Because why? Because of Weinstein. The young actors, young rock stars are killing themselves on the drugs they get them on, and then they overdose them. Uh, makes it so for Epstein. Okay, so then looking at the top dogs, who's top dogs? Well, I may get in trouble for this one, but look at Oprah Winfrey licking Weinstein. Yeah, her tongue in his ear. Well, ooh, yuck. And as soon as Epstein was arrested and they took the island, guess what she opened up? Oh, yeah, 8 bedroom, one out just past Washington State. And it almost mirrored Epstein Island. What is she doing there? And as someone said, why do you need all them bedrooms? She says, I have a bedroom for every dog I have. Now tell me, little pooches, she's got little Pomeranian type dogs. Tell me your dog is going to go stay in his own room. I can't even get mine off next to me off the couch and leaning on me, breaking into my office when I'm in. Tell me that it's going to go in there and go to bed on its own little adult bed. Yeah. Well, how much sense does that make? And then we find out that she was into child relations too. What is going on with Hollywood? It's why I don't watch a lot of TV, and it's why I don't go to a lot of movies, because I'm sickened. What's going on? And then not mention the Hollywood with the Skid Row. And who's in charge of Skid Row? None other than Maxine Waters. She ought to be ashamed of herself. And look at the poo in San Francisco with, and the people in San Francisco are saying, Nancy Pelosi's back, but what has she done? Nothing. The poo is still there. Yeah, and she's not doing anything about it. And many have asked why. Because they're all a part of this. And I've even said before with Bohemian Grove that Pelosi and her husband and the Clintons and quite a few, I think Kamala Harris and her husband's part of that. It's these secret groups that we need to do away with, like Bilderberg meetings. Why don't anybody with Bilderberg allow you to see the list of who goes there? Well, so what? So what? Everybody all over the globe, there's somebody goes to Bilderberg meetings, and they all stay in one hotel. Who cares who they are? We just want to know who they are. And, even Alex Jones and a few others tried to get the list. And when they did, we found out there's the people on the list. Well, why are these people meeting secretly? It's these secret meetings. And it's like what this judge had just passed for saying that Biden couldn't talk to the media privately. This is what's the new start of we are seeing the truth and what's really going on. I mean, that's the title of the show, but more and more, the truth is being leaked out. The truth of Hollywood. Going on, what's going on in San Francisco. And then we got New York. Why is New York the way it is now? I thought New York was proud of their Broadway. And all of a sudden it's crime rate and they got poo. Not only they got poo, but they got rats. Now they got a rat czar. Why destroy a city that's bringing in so much revenue? And now the Democrats and the news media can't cover it up anymore. And then ornery and mean Biden is. And they say they don't want him anymore. They want Harris. I don't even think they want Nancy Pelosi because it's embarrassing them. Because people are waking up. People are seeing the truth. And it's not just me with the truth and news, it's others. Look what they did to Alex Jones. They totally took him out. Are they going to do that to Joe Rogan? Is he next? Joe Rogan has got so many guests on there that's just barking the truth. And Elon Musk. Or what are they going to do to Musk and Twitter? He's speaking truth. He's bringing out, and people are saying, wait a minute, we never knew about this. I went on a chat forum and I was told I can't say what it was. The guy that does it told me I wasn't allowed to tell. Okay, dude. Um, but he was saying that he has been a Democrat all of his life. His parents were, his grandparents were. He's a young guy. And he says his forum was all about how bad Trump was. And then he started looking at the Biden administration the last 2 years. He said, something's happening. He says, I don't like these guys as much as I used to. What happened? What happened to that democracy? What happened to they were the adults? Remember, I said they were the adults in the room. He said, what happened to bring the country together? He says it's all about racism and goodness. And you know, he's supposed to go for the trannies that want to do the library thing with kids. He's not for that. Does he change party? Told his viewers, it's time to take a good long look at what is going on with the Democrat Party. Do we really want to be a part of this? Or do you want to um, um, be with the same? Do you want to burn down Catholic churches? Do you want to disk Jesus Christ? He said, well, wait, well, he's in Jesus Christ. He's not allowed to believe in that. He's supposed to say that um, sex trafficking. Let's just, he says he was going to put a show on about, no, you're not, you're supposed to ignore that. He says, well, what's going on in San Francisco or Epstein or Weinstein? This, oh no, ignore you. What about what Nancy Pelosi has been doing in San Francisco? Oh no, we can't look at that either. You ignore that. So these media that are putting forth the democracy, the Democrats, and how they're the better party, he says he's not all for their ideas anymore. He says he's starting to see the truth and he don't like it. He can't he can't he can't say, oh, it's not going to like that. Because when you looking at it and you quit reporting it, it becomes lies. It's not the truth anymore in your news. CBS, I see a change. CBS is starting to say, well, wait a minute now. Uh, how many times are they going to write the script, write the news for these media and for these anchors to say, like Tucker Carlson? No, I'm going to tell the truth. Well, when he's talking the truth, guess what happened? He's out. They said they were going to take Laura Ingraham out. They said they were going to take Judge Janine. They were going to take all these people that's barking. Well, you notice the change. Oh, maybe they're going to ignore this a little bit. So either they're going to lie or they're going to tell the truth. And then that's what this is come to. We are a little over a year away from the election. And now we're seeing the truth. William, you had a good point earlier. Um, I wish I could remember exactly how you said it. Um, ah, Tell me, William. I read my mind on this one. Uh, um, we can we can put out there. The Democrats can put out there of what the truth is. Will they save their jobs? If not, no. They'll replace them with the next pretty face. I don't have no pretty face to replace me. I'm just old and I'm it. I'm it. My granddaughter was supposed to do this, and she chickened out. It was supposed to be her show, and then of course over. And then I had a that backed out on me, saying, "Oh no, I can't do that." Why? Because they don't want to speak the truth, or they being blocked from telling the truth. And I think that happened. It wasn't about being a pretty face. It's not about being a pretty face, it's speaking the truth. And when people fear when they tell the truth of what this Democrat Party is about, they were okay when they were moderates. You remember 15, 20 years ago, I was like, yeah, I could be a Democrat. And then I learned to, about the Clintons and going, oh no, oh no. And when the Clintons said they were going to take what they did to Arkansas, to Washington, D.C., I knew the change was going to happen. I knew we'd see socialism. We're in the middle of a recession. Uh, Janet Yellen said, we be going into a recession. No, the economists have already said we're in a recession. We are a year away from a depression. And then I heard on the news that Obama wants to set it up with the Biden administration because why? Maybe he's an advisor. That if Trump decides to go in office or if he's voted in office, they're going to set it up for failure. They're going to set it up so he can't touch nothing. Why? I thought I thought they were democracy. I thought they wanted to be the adults. I thought they wanted to bring our country forward. But as we could see, it's a deliberate destruction of the United States. They want to hand it over to who? Klaus Schwab. Who do they want to hand it over to? Is it Jinping? Is it well? Jinping isn't going to last forever. So, how far are we going to go for the destruction of the country? There is a city now. Get this, city that says, you know what? Every house will have a flag, or I guess it's a subdivision. Why not promote that? Every house will have a flag. And if they shouldn't, they should be able to get a flag for free. They should. They should be handing out flags saying, get them up, get them up. And I never knew, I'm going to close it out with, I never knew how much it would hurt a veteran when I watched my neighbor, when we had that storm come through. Not only did the pole break once, it broke twice. And it was the American flag that was in the middle. And when he put it back up, it was short. It was shorter than his POW and his veterans flag. And I could see the tears you could see the tears welling in his eyes. And he said the American flag needs to be bigger than that. And he had to go out and he had to get a special pole and he put it up. And he saluted it. This is a man that will come out on Memorial Day and he will play his bugle taps. He does it early in the morning and he raises the flag up and he plays it at night when he would bring it down half staff for his friends that he lost during the war. That's what America is about, folks. It's about being proud of everything that we have and telling the truth. And I really do believe that the decline of America is the Democrats. The rising of America and proud is going to be the Republicans. And as we get closer, we got to watch. We got to watch them drop boxes. We have to watch what they're doing. And you can't give up. You can't give up and just say, they're going to do it anyway and they're going to destroy us. No, you be loud, you be proud. You sing it loud, you sing it proud. America is great, folks. And, when just a simple pole falls over and you have a veteran, a POW, or a POW flag, I'm not sure. He doesn't talk much. And I have pictures. When I did pictures, I showed pictures of the flag with his, or his pole being down with the flag. It tore him up. He said, if it was the POW flag or the veterans flag, I'd been okay, but not the American flag. And he said, and it never should have touched the ground. How many were raised that you don't let the American flag touch the ground? And then we have Democrats and their protesters and their destroyers that want to burn our flags. It's not right. All right, folks, that's it. Subscribe and hit the like button. And I know I ranted and threw in a bunch of stuff here at the end, but we got me and William tomorrow night, and it's going to be a great show. Cluster bombs and some other things. I got William. I called him today out of the blue, and I said, I need you to look into some things for me. Because without a military, we got to have a military, and we have to have a good leader for our military. That's what's important. So anyway, subscribe, smash that like button, and ring my bell. Keep that bell because they are taking the bells away. Almost whenever you almost daily, weekly, monthly, they're just not, that bell isn't working for YouTube. So ring that bell. And if not, follow me on Facebook, share with family, friends. And, the next time you're out and about in the middle of maybe a movie and look at the person and say, you know what, you need to Gator News, the truth in news. Thanks everyone for watching, your support. We'll see you tomorrow for 3 Report. Bye-bye, folks.